Okay guys, so you're going to have to excuse me. There's a very loud printer printing by me. But anyway, let's talk about input and output devices. Okay. Let's start with input devices. If I were to ask you what is an input device, I want you to tell me that it is a device that's used to enter data into a computer system. The type of input device you use depends on the data to input, the type of computer the input device is connected to, and the application that you're using. The keyboard and the mouse are the most common input devices. Okay, so keyboard and mouse, two most common input devices. Digital cameras and webcams are among the ways to input data into computers. Optical scanners convert photos or documents into digital files. QR code readers and barcode readers provide information about products. Let's see what else. Magnetic strip readers read the information encoded in such strips, so like your credit card. Okay, who knew your credit card was an input device? Biometric scanners measure human characteristics. Microphones convert sound into digital signals. And game controllers and joysticks let users interact with video games. Okay, so those are some common input devices. Let's go on to output devices. An output device lets you send processed data out of your computer in the form of text, pictures, graphics, sounds or audio, and video. The most common output device is right in front of you, your monitor. Sometimes referred to as a display screen, okay? But we're going to go ahead and stick with trusty old monitor as the term we like. Monitors display text, graphics, and video as soft copies. And what that means is that these are copies that you can see only on the screen. You can't touch them, okay? Another common output device is a printer, which creates hard copies. So you're taking something you're seeing on your monitor, maybe your paper you wrote for English class, and you print it out. The printer gives you this stack of papers that have your words printed on them. You now have a hard copy, something you can touch of your text and graphics or whatever you have in there. Speakers and earphones or earbuds are the output devices for sound. Sorry, I always forget to press all the things for the slides. Okay, monitors, how do they work? Well, they work by lighting up pixels on the screen. Okay, they work in different ways, but we have some old technology, that's CRT. That stands for cathode ray tube, and we call this legacy technology because nobody's using it. It's not coming back. We're done with CRT. And these were the big beige monitors you would use for computer class in elementary school. They're the big giant TVs that take up all the room, the ones you see heaped at the thrift store or at the dump. Okay, that's CRT monitors. We have LCD, which stands for liquid crystal display. There's also plasma. There's OLED, which is organic light emitting diode. These are all different video output device options. Okay. CRT monitors, like I've said, that's legacy technology, but they use lots of energy. They're expensive to run, basically. So these newer TVs and new monitors, the technology uses less energy. It's more friendly to your electric bill. Okay. Okay, so like I mentioned before, OLEDs right here, organic light emitting diodes. These type of monitors are 10 times more efficient than LCDs, than the liquid crystal displays. Okay, the way they work is they use organic compounds that produce light when the compounds are exposed to this electric current. So unlike LCDs and LEDs, OLEDs don't require a backlight to function, and therefore they use even less power and are able to have a much thinner display. Sometimes as thin as 3 millimeters. Okay? They're also a lot brighter. They're more environmentally friendly than LCDs. Because of their lower power needs, OLED displays run longer on a single battery charge than do LEDs, which is why OLED technology is probably the technology used in your cell phone, your iPod, your digital camera. Okay. AMOLED stands for Active Matrix Organic Light Emitting Diode. Okay. These types of screens are found in some mobile devices, laptops, and TVs. Samsung uses AMOLED technology, and this makes their displays a lot more vivid. Some people argue that their displays are too vivid, but I think they're beautiful, and it's all a matter of what you prefer. What's your preference? Okay, and then we have another output device, so projectors. Okay, projectors produce larger images and are more practical when making a presentation or sharing media with a group in such places as a classroom. A DLP, or a digital light processing projector, uses hundreds of thousands of tiny swiveling mirrors to create an image. An LCD projector passes light through a prism. So it's pretty interesting. Like, I never would have known this about projectors until I did a little research on them. The DLP image has higher contrast and deeper blacks. And then your LCD projector has poorer contrast and sort of washed out blacks. And, projectors range from the kind you see in the classroom, projecting the PowerPoint or a video or whatever onto the screen in the classroom, to like handheld projectors that people use for personal use. Okay, you can maybe you don't have a TV, you just have your phone. You can project onto your wall in your dorm. So different things that you can use these output devices for. Okay. A video card is an expansion card that provides the data signal and connector for a monitor or projector. And these can be integrated on the motherboard or connected through expansion cards, external USB, and via FireWire, which is a type of port connector. Audio output comes through speakers and headphones, which convert digital signals into sound. Speakers can be integrated or connected to the speaker port on a sound card. Headphones can also be plugged directly into a computer's headphone or speaker port. Okay, so let's look at some different types of printers. Printers are, of course, also output devices. Here's the picture right there. Someone just printed out a picture of their newborn baby, right? There are many different options for printers, and again, your choice should be based on what you need. What do you need this printer for? Inkjet printers are popular because, let's face it, they're cheap, okay? And they produce high-quality color printouts quickly and quietly. Okay? Inkjet printers actually work by spraying tiny drops of ink onto paper and are great for printing black and white text as well as color images. Okay. Photo printers are designed to print high-quality photos. That's what they do. Dye sublimation printers, these use heat to turn solid dye into a gas that's then transferred to special paper. Okay. And then we have thermal printers that create an image by heating specially coated heat-sensitive paper, which changes color when heat is applied. So where do you think you might find these types of printers? Usually at a restaurant or at Walmart. Okay. Laser printers. These use laser beams and static electricity to deliver toner, which is basically ink, onto the correct areas of the page. Heat is then used to fuse the toner to the page, making the image permanent. They have a faster printing speed than inkjet printers, and they produce higher quality printouts. And well, I wouldn't say these are, you can't get them for like $19 on Black Friday like you can an inkjet printer, but you can get a decent LaserJet. I don't know, I paid like $99 maybe for mine. That was through Dell. You can probably find them deals on them, and I think LaserJet is the way to go, for at least for my personal printing needs. And then you see these multifunction printers, which is great if you have a small home office. They can scan, print, fax, copy, basically do whatever you need it to do. Okay. This darn cold is getting the best of me. Okay, and then of course, what are we forgetting? 3D printers. 3D printers create these digital images. Then they create prototypes and models by building layers of material, such as paper, polymers, resin, even metal. Okay, even in some cases, like cells, okay, to print out an ear. Okay, it's like mind-blowing stuff. 3D printing is also known as additive manufacturing, and this refers to processes used to synthesize a three-dimensional object in which successive layers of material are formed under computer control to create an object. Objects can be of almost any shape or geometry and are produced from digital model data. Okay? A futurologist named Jeremy Rifkin claims that 3D printing signals the beginning of a third industrial revolution, succeeding the production line assembly that dominated manufacturing starting in the late 19th century. So, looking into the future, is this something that could replace humans and the jobs they do? The answer is, of course, yes. So how you feel about that is something we can talk about, or we could have a whole class on ethics and is this good for people? In some cases, it's great. Dental and medical imaging, a lot of this is done using these 3D printers. Okay, this right here, those are dentures. Okay, teeth that were printed out by a 3D printer. Okay, adaptive technology. Adaptive technology is also referred to as assistive technology, and this is used by individuals with disabilities to interact with technology. Adaptive technologies can occur with hardware and software. Okay, modern OSs include accessibility settings that you can personalize yourself. The ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, requires employers with 15 or more employees to make reasonable accommodations, adjustments, or modifications to enable people with disabilities to enjoy equal employment opportunities. Because of the ADA, many hardware and software vendors have developed adaptive technology. Okay, adaptive input devices include braille writing devices, eye-driven keyboards, keyboards with locator dots, keyboards with large print key labels, on-screen keyboards, and voice recognition software. Adaptive output devices include standard monitors with magnified screens, speech synthesis screen reader software, closed captions, visual notifications, and braille embossers. Okay. Communication devices function as both input and output devices and allow you to connect to other devices on a network or the internet. So devices in this category include network adapters, modems, and fax devices. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this chapter. Please write with any questions. Okay, thank you.